Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
And I'm here to tell you, yes, it's a brother thing.
And I'm back. I am Lockney Fratelli.
Welcome to episode 351, SuperBrawl IX.
He who wins the belt has the power.
He who wins the belt has the world championship.
I mean, that's
close enough.
That's
has the
true.
world heavyweight title.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's right.
It's WCW double taglines.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what's on the VHS tape box,
Yeah.
basically. I mean, like we said, what was it, was it the St. Valentine's Day Massacre show that,
That one was horrible.
It didn't
That
have
was
one.
like-
It was just like,
this sounds like WCW came up with their tagline.
because they didn't have one. They didn't need one at that point. They were on fire.
But this is the 9th Super Brawl produced by WCW. It took place on February 21st, 1999, from the Oakland Arena in Oakland, California, with an attendance of 15,880 and a buy rate of 485,000 people.
They're keeping up.
It's a big number. I mean,
This
one
is
of the big ones
the-
I've seen for a while.
This is the third most buys they ever had on a pay-per-view.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Not bad.
Because I believe it was St. Valentine's Day Massacre where the buy rate was just like out of this world.
I want to say it was 450. So this one actually has more.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what the big draw would have been, because
I mean, it's Hogan and Flair.
Yeah. It's mostly.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I just had to remind myself if there was a stipulation on this one or not, but no. This was just Hogan and Flair, but it had been Hogan and Flair for the first time in I don't know how long, so I guess it...
That is true.
Been Flair doing anything? I mean, Flair just started to do anything meaningful in WCW pretty recently.
Yeah, because he was gone pretty much all of 98, being suspended. Basically, him and Bischoff didn't get along. But we are in Oakland, California.
We are.
So Shane, did you do what you do?
Well, I showed up, so that's a big part of doing something different than what I've done here recently. But yes, we are in Oakland, in California, for the Super Brawl, so I did what I do, and I got on the old Google machine and tried to figure out what the hell people in Oakland, what makes Oakland special. You know, they had the A's back then. They had the
Raiders.
The Raiders, yes. That was like, who was the other team? Because they've moved around a lot. I found some of the typical Cali treats that you would find on there, Mexican food, cocktails, all kinds of goodies. But the thing that originally jumped out at me were these big-ass burritos. But I decided against those. But yeah, I didn't want to really go across town because we don't know what kind of condition the food will be in by the time it gets all the way over here. So I decided to go a different route, or perhaps a different road. Looking up my research, I found that there is a popular ice cream flavor that has an origin. Well, it's got a various origins. There's an Australian origin story for this specific ice cream, but there's also a California one. What I am talking about is Rocky Road ice cream. According to Google, anyways, 1929, Oakland, California. William Dreyer of Dreyer's Ice Cream and candy maker Joseph Eady, is that how it's pronounced?
I think so.
Eady's Ice Cream? Okay. They kind of had a little mashup. Dreyer cut marshmallows and walnuts with his wife's sewing scissors, added them to chocolate ice cream. They named it Rocky Road after the 1929 stock market crash to cheer people up during the Depression. There's also something just popped up on my phone saying that another ice cream shop in Oakland is claiming to be the origin of Rocky Road.
I smell 6-part Netflix series.
Right? Can you imagine it?
Yeah.
The road less traveled. Multiple sources claim that George Farron, a candy maker working at Fenton's, is the true inventor of Rocky Road. Farron was friends with Dreyer and Edie, and the story goes that he blended a chocolate candy bar made with walnuts and marshmallows into ice cream, creating a Rocky Road flavor. Dreyer liked Farron's idea and allegedly stole it, replacing the walnuts with almonds. However, the first known recipe for Rocky Road originated not in California, but in Kansas. Several editions of Rigby's Reliable Candy Teacher were published by W.O. and Fred Rigby beginning in 1909. For the 13th edition, copyrighted in 1920, they included a recipe for Rocky Road, which is a little weirder than today's version, but very similar in key details. Place a dish of chocolate ice cream in a sundae cup, and over it pour a ladle of honey cream whip. Mix a few broken almond macaroons in with the whip, and scatter whole pecans and walnuts lightly over the sides. Top with a cherry. If the 1920 copyright date is correct, that would leave Dreyer's claim in tatters, as Dreyer has yet to even open his first ice creamery at that time, much less partner with Edie. It would also damage Farron's claim to ownership because in 1920 the concoction had to be known enough to appear in a book from the Midwest, and as such Dreyer and Edie wouldn't have needed to steal it directly from him. Long story short, somebody came up with this idea to put nuts and marshmallows in chocolate ice cream.
Parallel thinking. Chocolate ice cream with nuts and marshmallows in it? Give me a break.
Yeah. I mean, I
you
didn't
don't think
realize...
you don't think people on other sides of the country might figure that out, or other sides of the world? Tonight, it's from Oakland.
Damn right. Thank you.
But the version we got
is
from Brahms.
Yes.
An Oklahoma
close to Kansas.
Local favorites.
Can you imagine if Brahms had actually stolen the recipe as well?
I mean, everyone stole the recipe at some point.
Yeah. But, I mean, Brahms, the food, hit or miss. Ice cream, always a hit. The milk,
some of the best.
Always a hit.
Yes.
But, you know, every once in a while, depending on location, you get a pretty solid fast food cheeseburger.
Yep. I mean, if all else fails, if I'm going to Brahms, I'm just getting an order of fries because they have the crinkle cut fries. Yeah, they're freshly frozen out of the, pulled out of a bag.
When they do it right, when they come out fresh, they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge Rocky Road fan because I'm not like a huge marshmallow person.
Yeah.
But like the Breyers brand, they actually do the marshmallow swirl.
I think that would be better.
While this Brahms version is actual marshmallow, like small marshmallows in it, which it's fine. Like I don't hate it by any means, but I much prefer marshmallow swirl.
I love a chocolate ice cream. I would never go for Rocky Road if I purchased a chocolate ice cream.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not a typical marshmallow guy. But I think it works in here, considering how soft and pillowy they are compared to the crunchy nut.
Cereal
And then
variety.
the chocolate ice cream is great because Brahms does any one thing correctly. It is ice cream. They have wonderful ice cream.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Brahms was my ice cream place as a kid. Living in Nebraska, we didn't have Brahms. So anytime we came to Oklahoma, it was a big treat because...
And it's...
Forget Baskin Robbins, forget 31 flavors, forget Dairy Queen. Brahms was the shit. It's rich and creamy and delicious, and it's
still affordable.
Yeah.
You can go in there sometimes and it's like, 2 jugs of ice cream for $6 or whatever.
I mean, this pint was $4.50. I mean, it's not a bad price for a pint of ice cream.
Especially one that's good.
Yeah. Locally made. And delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Shane's taking bites, but you guys can't hear it because it's ice cream.
Yeah, and if you can hear it, I bet it sounds so gross.
There we go. We'll tap the bowl. But yeah, I'll do what else I do and take a bite in front of the I almost said microphone. I'm really out of practice, guys.
It's all right.
But I got ice cream and I got coffee.
It's like riding a bike.
I got a vape to push me along. So I've missed you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. No way.
Hoorah.
That's deliciousness.
Well, something that would happen right around the same time as Super Brawl IX, the Grammys would air a few days later.
All right, so what's the big win? Because I couldn't tell you.
I had to look it up.
So My Heart Will Go On won Record of the Year.
I should have been able to guess that one.
Versus The Boy Is Mine, Iris, Ray of Light, and You're Still the One.
Wow, that's a great combination.
Great
of songs.
year
For like a guy who admittedly is not like a pop music guy. Those are all great songs. Boy Is Mine might be my favorite, but I could never argue that it's the best.
And then Album of the Year was Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Also a pretty wonderful win.
Beating Sheryl Crow's Globe Sessions, Garbage's Version 2.0, Madonna's Ray of Light, and Shania Twain's Come On Over.
I think that the right person won.
I agree completely.
Yeah, I mean Sheryl Crow, Globe Sessions. I love that album.
But that's like the second or third one, right?
It might be number 4.
What was the question?
Sheryl Crow,
Sheryl Crow.
Globe Sessions.
It's not the first one with
No.
all the hits on it. Yeah.
No,
No, there was that one. There was a rock album. I'm gonna say Globe Sessions was number 3.
I believe so, yeah.
But yeah, it's not the one that where people are like, oh, that's the Sheryl Crow record.
No.
And then my favorite category always to look at with the Grammys,
Best New Artist.
Best New Artist, because it's usually either I know all of them or I know none of them.
Also, that like they're not technically a new artist. The Grammys just finally started paying attention to them, and then there's also kind of a curse attached to it, where it's like if you win it, then you kind of your career ends up being crap, which isn't always true, but it's happened to enough people that it's a thing that people talked about.
Yeah. So the Best New Artists for this year were Natalie Imbruglia,
Torn,
Dixie Chicks,
Earl,
Andrea Bocelli,
I don't
Prayer.
know. Okay.
Backstreet Boys,
Are back.
Tearing Up My Heart.
and Lauryn Hill, who obviously won because you don't win Album of the Year without winning Best New Artist.
That thing.
That's
That's
I mean,
a
that's-
good
that's-
collection.
That's a good lineup. I'd say of those, any of them except for Backstreet Boys, I would put as a definite winner.
It would be Lauryn Hill or Dixie Chicks for sure, because like Natalie Imbruglia has that one song everybody remembers and loves, and Backstreet Boys technically weren't new. They had that first album came out in the UK.
Lauryn Hill wasn't really new either because she was a Fuji.
She was a lonely foo at that
she'd
point.
been on the
Backstreet
Sister
was
Act 2.
back.
yeah.
They were global. They were a global sensation for real. They were like almost Spice Girl level already.
But I think they gave it to the right person musically.
But Lauryn Hill led the ceremony with a record-breaking 10 nominations.
Damn.
Being the first woman to ever achieve that milestone.
That's awesome.
She made history as the first woman to win 5 Grammy Awards, first artist to sweep the R&B field, and the first female rapper to win Best New Artist. It was also, her album was the first hip-hop album to win Album of the Year.
Yep. Doo-Wop That Thing is still on my continuous playlist.
If only she could pay her taxes. If only she wasn't a pain in the ass. I heard a thing recently that whoever like manages or like when Lauryn Hill has shows, the only way she can like guarantee that Lauryn Hill will show up. She's kind of like female Morrissey, but I don't think Morrissey cares if his mom shows up. But she will make sure that Lauryn Hill's mom has like a ticket, like he's like going to be at the show, and then Lauryn Hill will show up, and they don't have to worry about her being a pain in the bum.
Lauryn Hill didn't even perform that song.
Wow, that thing.
It was To Zion, is what she performed.
Her
Her and Carlos Santana.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Santana was also on a tear at this point. His resurgence.
Yeah, I want to say he was the next year big winner.
Like Aerosmith performed I Don't Want to Miss a Thing on this show.
I'm sure they won.
Dixie Chicks probably performed something.
James Horner and John Williams both performed some of their Titanic and Star Wars stuff.
Oh, I guess this
Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Dixie Chicks didn't perform.
No?
No.
I mean, I guess it was their first year, but let's see. Oh, that was Ricky Martin, Cup of Life.
Alanis Morissette, uninvited on this show.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Andrea Bocelli and Celine Dion, The Prayer.
Kirk Franklin didn't perform Stomp. He performed Lean on Me.
It's just funny that the Grammys were a thing that as a kid, like, if I was at home and the Grammys were on a Sunday, I just watched them. And then they just kind of faded into obscurity, and now I don't even have any interest at all.
yeah,
And even
I
then, I
usually
don't. It was just because it was the point of the
usually,
television.
like I said a while ago, I think I usually, whenever I see the nominees come up, I go,
Who's that?
let's see how many of these people I actually know who they are.
I had that feeling this year with the Golden Globes. Like, when they announced the movies, I had to look up the movies because I didn't know what the fuck any of these movies were, except for, like, 3 of them.
It's because nobody goes to the movies anymore.
I did find the movies in the comedy musical category pretty hilarious because I was just like looking at the names and I'm like, I don't think any of these are actually comedies. Like Begonia is a dark comedy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would have ever put it in the comedy spot.
Probably not. I mean, they used to make comedies in this country. They don't
Exactly.
do it
Remember the DiCaprio one? Everybody kept
One
asking
Battle
me,
After Another.
Isn't that a drama? I'm like, the
Oh yeah,
previews that
One
I've
Battle
seen-
After Another is in the comedy.
It's very funny. But Eddington is funnier than One Battle After Another.
Yeah, it was just like some of these movies. I was just like, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I literally said to someone at work, I was just like, they should just name 10 movies and
Yeah, but the comedy
Make 'em
musical
all.
thing, I think, for the Golden Globes, been like that for
Yeah,
a long
I'm
time.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a way to get one
Also,
of the
like,
musicals.
there's one musical a year.
Golden Globes
I mean,
love.
Evita was nominated for Best Comedy or Musical.
That's the thing is the Golden Globes is the international
it
press,
won.
and they love musicals.
Yeah, so good for you, Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Though
would-
it wasn't nominated because the second one's not good.
Oh, really?
Even though it's called for good, it's just good in name only.
Yeah, I may never see them.
That's my opinion.
I haven't
You
watched...
don't have to.
I
like
love
it.
I
I
love
haven't
The
seen
Wizard
it
of
yet.
Oz. I like Return to Oz for how weird it is. I don't care about any other Oz thing that exists on the planet.
I shouldn't be surprised, but I just love the fact that somebody else has watched Return to Oz. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I was the only
Actually,
one for the longest
actually
time.
wanted to watch it the other day.
I saw
It's
it at
weird.
the theaters.
It's
was
creepy.
So good.
It's creepy. It's weird. It obviously is a much lower budget. It's not as good as The Wizard of Oz, but how many movies are?
I also love The Wiz.
That's the one that I need to see, and it's been on my bucket list for a long
Wiz is
time.
great.
And I know I'm gonna love it because on paper, why wouldn't I?
Just ease on down the road, man.
And it's Sidney Lumet,
Exactly.
and he knows where to put a camera.
It's Nipsey Russell. It's Diana Ross. It's Michael Jackson.
But if you're not into 90s music, go out there, check the Grammy list from this year because there's tons of good stuff.
Oh yeah, that song list was great too. I mean, Iris. I know people were tired of that song, but I,
I know,
had to bring it
yeah,
up because I knew it would make Shane.
That's not even the best song on that album.
No, it was just the first one that popped in my head from the list.
But that album, that Goo Goo Dolls album is excellent.
Alanis Morissette, Uninvited, was so much better than Iris on the City of Angels soundtrack.
Yeah, the Replacements are one of my all-time favorite bands, and I always say the Goo Goo Dolls are basically the replacements for moms. So I'm here for it. They would probably say the same thing.
Well, let's talk some Super Brawl 9.
Oh, yeah.
A young lady in a hotel room looking through the room service menu when she starts talking to someone. And that person hands her 2 tickets to Super Brawl. And she becomes very excited, saying her friends will be so jealous and running off to get ready.
You think that the conceit is that they're paying a prostitute with tickets for Super Brawl?
I kind of wondered if that was what the... Because
It was a weird opening,
it was.
and it was very like late 80s, 90s, like prostitute in a dress.
The only reason why that might not have been a thing is that this isn't that lady's first appearance on WCW. She had been showing up recently as a... I think she had shown up as a Steiner girl. Was the first time that
they're
she had shown
trying
up.
to sunny her.
And then she had shown up with Kevin Nash at one point. So, like, she had been seen on TV, hasn't been given a name yet.
Yeah, they're trying to sunny and or sable her.
We then cut to an opening package with rotating heads of Flair, Dusty, Goldberg, Luger, Hogan, and Nash, leading into highlights of competitors as well with quotes from announcers over each. Tony Schiavone welcomes us to the show, joined by Mike Tenay and Bobby the Brain Heenan, where they talk about the title match and how the Nature Boy has been clamoring to win the championship. Tony then sends it to a package about the finals of the tag tournament, showing footage from throughout, with Schiavone mentioning that many problems arose as teams went down in defeat. Kidman and Chavo parted ways. Van Hammer dropped out with an injury, and the breakup of the Faces of Fear.
Ming and Barbarian. I mean, we love them dearly, but like we know why they were there. They were there to lose, whether we like it or not.
Were they there to lose each other?
Hopefully not behind the scenes.
Tony continues that the Horsemen will have to win 2 matches in a row before cutting to them in the back, as Dean Malenko says there are no more second chances. They have to take a serious gut check. We go back to Schiavone's narration to talk about the former Horsemen in Curt Hennig and Barry Windham, claiming the only competition they've had was the match against their opponents. So the reason the Horsemen of now are in the losers bracket are because they did lose to Hennig and Windham.
Yeah. And the other teams.
And then they went through the losers bracket, so now they'll face each other. We go back to Benoit, who says they're going to take the initiative to bring back the glory and notoriety and the attitude of what being champions are all about.
Sounds great. I would love to see that.
We then head to Mean Gene in the aisleway with the belts set in a case where he hypes up the finals and the hotline. But that takes us to our first match. Disco Inferno versus Booker T.
Disco gets a big reaction, and I'm like, it's just so funny that Disco's big in 99, and look what's big on the other channel. It's like Val Venus is getting pops, and Disco Inferno is like the most sanitized version of it. Just really got me chuckling.
And we get a video from this past week's Thunder where Disco had insulted his opponent backstage, with Booker taking exception to it. So I guess that's why we got this match.
It's a brother thing.
And the match gets going with a Booker T hip toss, but misses a clothesline, leading to Disco Inferno connecting with a running, swinging neckbreaker.
And at least everybody in the crowd's not a fool, because we do get some Disco sucks chants.
Back and forth with arm work, back elbows, arm drags, when Disco walks into a clothesline, followed by a back body drop and a corner clothesline by Booker. And Disco Inferno's taken down by a flying forearm smash for a 2 count, when Booker T telegraphs his move, allowing Disco to take control with strikes and a headlock. Booker escapes and misses a Harlem sidekick, with Disco Inferno clotheslining his opponent to the floor before running Booker T into the ring steps and the guardrail. Now back inside, Disco slams Booker down and heads up top for a double axe handle that gets a near fall. But Booker T fires back with a knee to the gut, a roundhouse kick, and an axe kick. But a reversed whip leads to an atomic drop from Disco Inferno, and he goes for another second rope double axe handle, only for Booker to catch and drop his opponent with a power slam.
Nasty.
Booker T then sends Disco to the ropes and goes for the Harlem sidekick again, only for the Disco Inferno to hold onto the ropes to avoid and bouncing off with a clothesline.
It's a pretty sick sell by Booker T. He goes inside out for this one, so good on him.
Disco then goes for the chart buster, but Booker shoves him off into a corner, where Disco Inferno stumbles backwards into a back suplex. Booker T spin-a-roonies up into a Harlem sidekick, going to the top, only for Disco to meet him there with a punch to the gut. But Booker shoves Disco Inferno off to the mat before flying off with a Harlem hangover for the pin and the win.
A fun little solid curtain jerker from WCW's past. We used to get, we always expect good from Booker T for the most part. Disco Inferno, he's trying. And
yes.
He has a great opponent, and happy to see it.
I mean, Disco had his moments of annoying the shit out of me back in the day, but there were also times where he's a good hand.
Yeah. Like, he did not, by no means, embarrass himself, and this match moved. No. It was good. It's the kind of wrestling I want to see in 99.
So we go to our second match. Chris Jericho with Ralphus and Scott Dickinson versus Perry Saturn.
I smell something off.
And when Jericho and his cronies make it to the ring, it's announced that Dickinson's actually the ref for the match.
I smell a snake.
I guess the suspension's up while Ralphus is also wearing a dress to basically make fun of Perry. And Jericho takes the mic to tell Perry that he looks ridiculous, that he's embarrassed to force his Jerichoholics to see a grown man in women's clothing. wondering if Saturn knows how stupid he looks, how much of a moron he is, before calling him a cross-eyed, cross-dressing freak, telling him to take the dress off because he looks like an idiot.
How Jericho of Jericho to be the guy that put the man in the dress and then make fun of him to be in the dress.
And Perry takes this all in stride until he attacks with a clothesline, right hands, and a back body drop that sends Chris to the outside.
Get him.
Saturn follows to run his opponent into the railing several times, tossing him into the crowd before leaping off the steel with a double axe handle. And they make their way back to ringside, where Jericho reverses a whip to send Perry into the guardrail and ring steps. And they head back inside, where Saturn nails a T-bone suplex, multiple headbutts, a back body drop, and a catapult that sends Chris over the ropes. And Perry with a slingshot plancha out onto his opponent, followed by attacking Ralphus, tossing him inside the ring to tear his dress off, which allows Jericho to recover and hit a dropkick from behind. And Chris continues with a vertical suplex, makes a cocky pin, only for Saturn to counter it to slam Jericho's face into the mat.
Love it. He picks his
multiple
ankle.
times.
That's what you get for just putting your boot on me. Who do you think you are?
An eye rake and strikes from Chris force Perry to retreat to the floor, with Jericho flying off the top with a missile dropkick. And Saturn's rolled in, while Chris heads up top again for a twisting splash. But Perry moves in time, firing up with strikes, a thrust kick, and a scoop slam. Saturn now comes off the top with a frog splash, calls for the finish, when Jericho rolls him up with a leveraged pin attempt for a 2 count.
Nice try.
And Perry's sent to a corner, only to avoid a charging Chris and deliver mounted punches. But Jericho takes his opponent down and attempts to apply the Lion Tamer, when Saturn reverses it into a pin attempt for a near fall. Chris now goes for a clothesline, which Perry ducks and hits another thrust kick, followed by going for a powerbomb, only for Jericho to flip through to nail a release German.
Oof.
And Chris heads up top, but Saturn meets him there to exchange strikes, causing Perry to be knocked down and leading to a crossbody from Jericho, only for Saturn to counter it into the rings of Saturn. And Chris maneuvers his way to the rope with his boot, but Perry keeps up the attack with a sit-out vertical suplex before attempting a springboard moonsault, which Jericho avoids to deliver a lion salt for the pin. And no, Saturn kicks out. Perry then reverses a whip to get Chris up on his shoulders, but Jericho wiggles free and goes for a spinning heel kick, which Saturn ducks and hits the Death Valley driver this time. But instead of making a pin, Perry grabs the ref and nails a Death Valley driver to him as well, before leaving to the back, saying to the camera, "Life's a drag." And once Dickinson comes to, he calls for the bell, making Jericho the winner by countout.
Saturn rules, and I don't know what the story is here, but would Chris just not lay down for him? It's like, shouldn't he do? It's like, I know the Scott Dickinson thing, but Scott Dickinson didn't really do any cheating stuff in here.
I know, I was kind of surprised there wasn't
It's
any...
like, if Scott Dickinson, poked the bear, then I'd be like, fine. But he didn't poke the bear, so I was like, just pin Jericho.
Yeah.
But
I think he's just getting back at him for all the other previous things.
But even if he attempted things and a couple times, and Saturn just gave him a stare or whatever, just like, hey, not today, motherfucker, and then did this, I could still get it. But he didn't. I can't remember anything in the match where Scott Dickinson was being.
I didn't think he did anything at all.
Showing favoritism, so.
Other than coming down to the ring with his opponent.
Yeah. Outside of that, another good match with good wrestlers.
Yep.
Happy to see it.
We go to the WCW.com booth where Rey Mysterio and Konnan are being interviewed, and they're talking about Rey possibly losing his mask to the Outsiders, while K-Dog thinks the NWO is overconfident, so they will take advantage of that. We then cut to a video package about Scott Steiner and DDP, where we see Paige attacking Scott for messing with his wife. During this, we see a where Steiner steals a car, basically, throwing Kimberly out of the moving vehicle.
Nasty.
Causing her to have to go to the hospital.
Yeah, they went a little more in depth on that than I thought they were going to.
Yeah, it was like I said, a little gnarlier than I thought. I kind of did a shiver me timbers whenever they threw her out of the car, out of the limo. I was like, geez.
But that takes us to our third match. Chavo Guerrero Jr. versus Billy Kidman for the WCW World Cruiserweight Championship. And Tenay tells us that these two fought together in the tag team tournament, but Guerrero seemed to be the reason for the split. I guess after they lost, Chavo just kind of went off on Kidman, and so now they're fighting.
Here we are, two guys that can go, in a belt for guys that can go.
Yep.
And Chavo hides behind the ref until he pokes the eyes and hits some chops in a corner before attempting an arm drag, only for Billy to counter it into a hurricanrana, an arm drag, and a drop kick that sends Guerrero outside to regroup. Once he returned, Chavo walks right into an atomic drop and a clothesline, so he rolls back out to stall some more, when Kidman gives chase, sending his opponent into the railing and rolled back inside. And Billy keeps up the attack with clotheslines, strikes, another back body drop that sends Guerrero to the apron, following out only for Chavo to pull Kidman off, causing him to go throat first into the guardrail. And then return to the ring for Guerrero to deliver a brainbuster for a 2 count, turnbuckle smashes, and a chinlock to wear down his opponent. But Billy escapes with elbows, only for a shoulder block to send Kidman outside, with Chavo flying over the ropes with a somersault splash onto his opponent. They return to the ring where Guerrero hits stomps and chokes, whips Billy into a corner and charges in, but Kidman avoids and flies off the top with a crossbody for a near fall. Chavo then reverses a whip to catch Billy with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and a back suplex before heading up top, only for Kidman to meet him in midair with a dropkick.
Classic.
Billy then hits a tornado bulldog for a 2 count, goes for a whip, but it's reversed. So Kidman leaps up and over a charging Guerrero, only for Chavo to then drop toe hold a charging Billy into the turnbuckles. And Guerrero sets his opponent on the top to nail a hurricanrana for the pin, and no, Kidman kicks out. And Chavo goes for a back suplex, but Billy flips out of it to counter into a sit-out powerbomb for a near fall, followed by heading up top, where Guerrero trips him up, causing Kidman to crotch himself. Chavo then plants his opponent with a draping DDT for a 2 count, causing him to argue with the ref, before returning to attempt a powerbomb. But Billy flips through to reverse into a facebuster and come off the top with a shooting star press for the pin and the win.
How are you going to kick out to a shooting star press?
Nope.
You just don't.
Yeah. Also, Kidman crotching himself and yelling out, "My kids, man." It's a really bad joke I thought of when you said that. Sometimes we'll make a little joke in between. It was a little long-winded, but also incredibly stupid. But it was really, really good. I like Chavo now. He dropped the gimmick and is now just being a great heel junior wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, he does comedy well, but he's also, I mean, he's such a talented wrestler that I like when he decides to be serious as well.
Yeah, I like this way better than the hobby horse thing. It's like, just be a dickhead wrestler.
Yeah. Don't need any Pepe. You know,
so I was
bring him in for a 5-second little thing. Oh, hey, Pepe. And then
yeah. I mean, I guess
kicking ass.
It's weird that you like do something that silly and then it's like, oh, now people like take you seriously or puts you up the card. But I'm glad that he's pushed it away. I understand I'm not winning here because Kidman's the guy at the moment, but he put up a valiant effort.
We go to a video package about Bam Bigelow and Goldberg, showing highlights of them attacking each other.
Oh, we know why Bam got brought back in, don't we?
I mean, it's the entire reason he's here.
To give Goldberg something to do since we neutered him.
Yep.
Didn't neuter him completely, but the powers that be weren't ready to have him be the champion for an extended period of time.
The powers that be aren't here yet.
Sorry. Bischoff and Hogan and Nash and Hall.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We then go to our fourth match. Curt Hennig and Barry Windham versus the Horsemen of Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko in the WCW World Tag Team Tournament final for the WCW World Tag Team Championships. And kind of mentioned it earlier, this tournament was a double elimination tournament, with the Horsemen having made their way through the losers bracket, forcing them to have to defeat Hennig and Windham twice in the same evening to win the belts.
So NWO has 2 chances.
Hennig and Windham aren't NWO.
Oh.
Hennig got kicked out.
He did get kicked out. You are correct.
Yep.
And Tony actually tells us that if they were to win, if the Horsemen win, there will be a 30-second rest period in between, just so we're ready for it if it happens. But this match gets started off by Barry and Malenko doing some mat wrestling before bringing in their counterparts to trade chops and right hands. Windham tags back in, only to be chopped away on as well, leading to Dean returning to nail a dropkick, only for Curt to jump in, leading to Barry delivering a vertical suplex for a 2 count. Windham and Hennig team up for a double clothesline that gets a near fall, followed by Curt chops and Barry chokes from the apron. Malenko finally escapes to roll to his corner for the tag, bringing Benoit in for chops and a hard whips to Hennig, a back body drop to Windham, before going back to Curt to nail a backbreaker that gets a 2 count. And Chris continues with a snap suplex for a near fall, followed by bringing Dean back in to hit turnbuckle smashes, a corner clothesline, and a back suplex for a 2 count.
Isn't it nice to see 4 guys that get it?
Yeah.
They all just get it. They know what it is.
Yep.
And it's just so nice. And Windham and Curt Hennig, I wouldn't think on paper would be like, oh, what a cool tag team. And then here I'm like, oh, these guys are great together. And Hennig be the smaller guy is funny.
Kind of, sort of have that same thought, but at the same time, I mean, it's Barry Windham and Curt Hennig. So
Exactly.
you could blindfold them and have them not know that they're going to be tag team partners, and I think they'd have the same magic chemistry.
But I think Hennig's been kind of, we haven't seen a whole lot of great Hennig since he's been in WCW.
So, clarity now.
Yeah, I think just him working with somebody that he like respects, or 3 other people that he respects, like their work. It's got him out of his.
Him and Scott Hall travel together, and
got him out of his shell a bit, and it's like, oh, this is the Curt Hennig that we all kind of love and remember.
Yeah, not quite perfect, but getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Benoit returns for a double back elbow with his partner, clotheslines to both of his opponents, and heads up top for the diving headbutt, where he makes the cover, only for Barry to break it up. Chris tags in Malenko, who goes for another cover, but the ref is still escorting Windham out of the ring, so they only get a 2 count. And Dean works over Hennig in a corner before Curt goes low to change the momentum, allowing him to bring Barry back to stomp away, nailing a gut-wrench suplex, and causing Benoit to jump in to break up a pin. Malenko is tossed to the floor, where Hennig sends Dean into the railing, followed by Windham chops. And they return to the ring, with Curt tagging in to keep up the attack, but Malenko is able to kick him away, making the tag for Chris to deliver strikes and a clothesline. But Hennig fights back to hit an atomic drop, bringing in Barry to take Benoit to the top to nail a superplex for the near fall. And Windham continues the punishment with strikes. Curt comes in to team up for a double snap suplex that gets a 2 count. Hennig with a rolling snap neck breaker for a near fall, followed by Windham with a back suplex for a 2 count. And Curt continues working over Chris until a standing switch leads to Benoit delivering a German suplex and making the crawl for the hot tag. Malenko cleans house with drop kicks, back body drop, and a double noggin knocker before sending Barry to the ropes, only to telegraph his move, with Windham going for a sunset flip. But Dean rolls through and locks on the Texas Cloverleaf. Hennig is able to break it up, only for Benoit to pull Curt away, allowing Malenko to reapply the move for the submission and the win. So both teams are now at 1 loss in this tournament. So we go to our 5th match. The same exact 4 people.
30-ish seconds later.
And there's, like I said, they're supposed to get a 30-second rest period.
But it just starts.
Chris continues to beat down Hennig, which brings the ref over to break it up. So when Dean goes to put the cloverleaf on again, Windham has pulled his belt off and starts choking Dean with it, followed by hitting him with a clothesline for the pin and the win. And new!
Fans boo, but it was a great match and one of the best heavy WCW tag matches I've seen in a long time. And I'm ready for the rematch because he won with a belt, so I got a feeling.
Well, I mean, he who has the belt has the power. So they gave that spoiler away at the beginning.
Yeah, now Barry Windham has 2 belts. His black leather belt and the gold one.
Little Barry 2 belts.
We then go to a video package about Ric Flair, Scott Hall, Bret Hart, and Roddy Piper. And we see the Nature Boy telling the Hitman that he would have to defend his United States title at SuperBrawl, while Hall was unhappy with Nate about Benoit being named the #1 contender. And Scott would win versus Chris with the help of Kevin Nash to become the new #1 contender, while Flair made Bret face Roddy on a Nitro, where Will Sasso would help Piper become the new champ.
You guys familiar with Mad TV?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, just for the listeners out, Mad TV was the trashy version of SNL, which I loved, but all of the jokes were either mean or racist, essentially.
Yes.
And it was funny, and it's still funny, but it's not like mean. It's kind of mean, but it's funny.
Well, a lot of the stuff moved from Mad TV to Family Guy.
Yeah,
And then they put more of a in-your-face, haha, this is funny spin on it.
Yeah, Mad TV was a little bit more long form than like your short, mean Family Guy jokes. But there's a skit that Will Sasso did, which is maybe my favorite, where it's him doing Randy Newman, but the joke is he's doing the music for the new Star Wars movie because this is when the Star Wars movie's coming out. So it's just him doing Randy Newman first. He's like, Star Wars, oh, Star Wars, playing the piano. Very good. Very, very good.
Is there anybody else that came out of Mad TV other than Will Sasso that anyone remembers?
Nicole Sullivan.
I mean, we remember her from...
Deborah Wilson.
There's... was that...
What's her name?
Who is the black woman? Not Mo Rocca. Mo... She's the black girl,
Parks
right?
and Rec as the newscaster that's always trying to gotcha.
Ari Spears.
Yeah.
Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee. So that's the one I was trying to think of there.
He was later, but like Bobby Lee is a pretty popular comedian. But
she
I don't
was
know.
Gina in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, but I think for the most part, there's not a whole lot of them. It's just that we remember them from Mad TV. Who was the guy that did the Pulp Fiction?
Lamar.
Phil Lamar, who was in Pulp Fiction.
Artie Lang. Orlando Jones.
Yeah, there's some big ones.
Mad TV had a...
We didn't even name the bigger
serious
ones.
lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the original cast. Brian Callen.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Swan, who went on to Family Guy.
Yeah.
And what the hell's her name?
Michael McDonald was the longest tenured cast member.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Stewart.
Mo, what's her last name, though?
Mo Collins.
Collins.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was the Stewart's mom, right?
Stewart's mom and the Lorraine and the... I can't think of her character's name, but I can just picture her in her blonde wig going...
Yeah. And then the lady that does Lois's voice on Family Guy, her name is... I can't remember her name. But it's funny because she's just like a chubby Jewish lady, but she played an Asian lady. I thought she was Asian the whole time I watched the show, even when she wasn't playing as
She went on to Marvelous Miss Maisel and won a couple of Emmys for that, for Best Supporting Actress. And
the Will Sasso thing, I was like, what are we doing here with Will Sasso? Do you know how much he was used on television? I guess if like he was reoccurring, or did they just bring Will Sasso out one night?
Alex Borstein.
Alex Borstein, yeah.
He fought Bret Hart at one point.
Well,
So-
poor Bret.
Well, I guess this is where it all stemmed from, because he cost Bret the match, apparently.
That all checks out.
So I guess the feud started on Mad TV when Bret Hart attacked Sasso, leading Sasso to threaten a lawsuit, which turned into a wrestling storyline. So then, a few weeks before this, Sasso then cost him the title. And then the very next week, Sasso faced Hart on Nitro. So I guess literally we've seen the best and the worst of Sasso at this point.
Yeah.
Literally, he's there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All before
Stone
this
Cold
show.
Steve Austin at one point.
Mad, come on.
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah. Interesting, fun side note to Will Sasso.
Yeah, when I had COVID, I just laid in bed and watched Mad TV compilations on YouTube, falling in and out of sleep. It was a nice time. It was a nice little revisit.
Never had it. But I watched all the Mad TVs back in the day, so...
Yeah. It's fun to revisit.
It's what I started smoking weed to.
It's a perfect thing for that.
But we go to our sixth match. The Outsiders of Kevin Nash and Scott Hall with Lex Luger and Miss Elizabeth versus Rey Mysterio Jr. and Konnan in a hair versus mask match.
I have a strong feeling I know which way it's going to go. Anybody ever seen Kevin Nash without luscious locks?
Well, it wasn't Kevin Nash's hair that was on the line.
Oh, Scott Hall's?
It was Elizabeth's.
Yeah, with her...
That makes it even less believable. Melissa's just going to shave her head.
The lovely Miss Elizabeth at the time had a very almost funky looking mullet thing going on. So
yeah, it was 1999.
Yeah.
So Luger was actually supposed to be Nash's partner, but his bicep had been torn the previous Thursday on Thunder due to an attack from Konnan and Rey.
Oh.
Now, if the attack's actually what caused it, or if he actually had torn it at some point, and they just
He
covered it up.
probably had some injury that
Don't
he
know
was
that.
medicating with too strongly.
But the stipulation was for Rey's mask and Liz's hair, as Kevin takes the mic to hype up the crowd before K-Dog does the same.
Yeah, but there was very short versions of that. Because I was like, when Kevin Nash grabbed the mic, I was like, oh no. And then on a pay-per-view, and then Konnan did the same thing. But he just did one of his 7 lines.
And Hall and Mysterio lock up to start with Rey using his quickness to take his opponent down. But Scott comes back with a kick to the gut and attempts a scoop slam, only for Mysterio to wiggle free to hit a drop kick and a springboard leg drop.
The height difference just had me rolling.
Mysterio also hits a springboard Thez press before trying for a crossbody. But Hall catches and delivers a fall-away slam before bringing Nash in to heel toss Mysterio across the ring several times.
Yeah, like more than half the ring distance.
Scott returns and paintbrushes Rey across the back of the head, keeps up the attack with chops and a corner clothesline, where he sets up for his finisher, only for Mysterio to slide out the back to make a tag. Konnan hits forearms to everybody, drop kick to Kevin to knock him over the ropes, but a reversed whip of Hall sends K-Dog to the ropes where Nash is back up to attack from behind, causing Konnan to walk right into a clothesline from Scott as well. Kevin tags in to work over K-Dog in the corner with knees, elbows, and chokes, bringing Scott back for double teams until Konnan fights his way free, knocking Nash off the apron and going for a rolling lariat to Hall, who ducks, with both men bouncing off the ropes for a double KO. And they make their way to their corners for a tag, with Rey springboarding in with a drop kick to Kevin. Does it again to nail Scott before a spinning heel kick to Nash. Mysterio then leaps off the back of Kevin for another drop kick to Hall, when Konnan has recovered to monkey flip Rey into a drop kick to Nash.
You're having fun.
Mysterio and K-Dog with mounted punches and Bronco busters to the Outsiders, when Kevin would reverse a whip that sends Konnan to the ropes, where Luger trips him up, drags him out, and slams K-Dog head first into the ring steps. Now inside the ring, Rey hits a springboard moonsault onto Nash, while Miss Elizabeth jumps on the apron to distract the ref, leading to Hall nailing the Outsider's Edge to Mysterio, pulling Kevin on top for the pin and the win. Post-match, the Outsiders are calling for the mask, with the crowd even chanting, "Take it off, take it off."
I mean, everyone's going to want to see a guy take his mask off. Why wouldn't they?
Konnan helps untie it, with Rey removing the mask. Nash just being like, "Whoa, dude." Put it back on.
Yeah. Even Bobby says, I bet he's ugly. And it's like, damn, Bobby. You've seen the man without his mask already, I'm sure.
Mysterio drops the mask before leaving, so Kevin picks it up and puts it on his own head.
A little goof. He can barely get it on his head.
Yeah, it's a small mask, definitely.
Yeah. It's like he tried to put a rotisserie chicken on his head.
As you stated before, and I'll state it now, if they had put Luger's hair on the line, like, since he was supposed to be in the match, like, I might have gone, okay, there's a chance.
Yeah, it's
but
not
like,
all he's...
Literally, once they come out and say it's Liz's hair, I'm like, yeah, we're not shaving Liz's hair at all. So Ray's definitely losing his mask. But also, they sold for Mysterio. Like,
yeah.
I think these guys actually respect what Mysterio brings.
If they didn't want this match to be good, it would not have been good. And Hall and Nash did their part, and it was really good and fun. And it also kind of felt like Ray and Konnan had a chance at points. So, the show's got a high batting score for me at this point, and I expected so much less from Nash and Hall. So I appreciate them.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've had a Hall and Nash match.
A good outsiders match.
Yeah, where you didn't automatically just like tune out completely.
Or we're like, oh, there was good things about this, but we have 100 caveats. We're like, oh, it was almost good, but it's like, no, this was just good. And they did it for two guys that are much shorter than them, and the crowd was hot, but the crowd's kind of hot for everything.
Big ups to Ray from going from being the guy that was lawn darted into the side of a trailer to now having the guy who lawn darted himself for him in the ring. So
also, I mean, the mask's off, but people don't really ever talk about. They do if you're talking about Rey Mysterio in like a historical way, but like most average fans aren't just like bringing up. Everyone's like, oh, Rey Mysterio. He's always got a mask on.
Mm-hmm. So we go to our 7th match. Scott Steiner versus Diamond Dallas Page for the WCW World Television Championship. The champ came out first. Foreshadowing. And Steiner daps up his fellow Wolfpack members as they're leaving to the back before grabbing a young lady out of the crowd and bringing her into the ring, where he takes a mic to remind everyone that when Big Papa Pump comes to town, all his hooches come around. He continues that if there's a woman he wants, there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Oof. Because Big Papa Pump's your hookup. Holla if you hear me.
A damn thing you can do about it. Collar pull.
Scott then turns his attention to DDP, saying it's not his fault that his wife was into him. So he needs to take that chip off his shoulder, and we can settle this like real men. And Page makes his way out and rushes the ring, causing Steiner to bail outside. So DDP gives chase to toss his opponent into the railing. Now back inside, Page continues with clotheslines, stomps, and strikes, fighting their way back outside where they head slam each other into the guardrail. And Big Papa Pump rolls back in, knocking DDP off the apron several times with kicks and an elbow to cause him to fall into the steel again. When Page finally makes it back inside with a flying clothesline and a swinging neckbreaker, when Buff Bagwell comes down to check on his partner. And they surround DDP with both getting in the ring. So Page takes them both down with strikes, atomic drops, and a double clothesline. But a reverse whip sends DDP to the ropes, where Bagwell hits him from behind.
I love that DDP like moves the ref out of the way for a moment, like to make sure he doesn't get like clocked as they're flanked. And it's just such a smart, small face move to do. Be like, I don't need this ref bump.
And this causes Page to stumble into a clothesline from Steiner, followed by tossing him out of the ring. And Buff continues the punishment by sending DDP into the railing, with Big Papa Pump coming out to do the same. And Page makes his way inside after a low blow to Bagwell. But Steiner nails another clothesline for a 2 count. Chokes on the ropes, where Buff also gets a few cheap shots in as well, before placing DDP in a tree of woe. Before more choking and stomps. And DDP begins to fight back, only be taken down by a belly-to-belly suplex for a near fall. which leads to Big Papa Pump arguing with the ref, allowing Page to pull on his tights, giving us Full Moon into a roll-up for a 2 count. And Bagwell then places a chair in a corner, while Steiner hits a backbreaker, followed by Buff distracting the ref so that Big Papa Pump can use the weapon across the back of his opponent. And the ref heads back to the action, so Bagwell starts cutting off the turnbuckle pads as Scott places DDP into the Steiner recliner. But Page counters with a headbutt to the nuts. And Charles Robinson finally sees what Buff is doing and ejects him to the back. You mean cutting off turnbuckle pads is more than watching him hit the opponent in the ring? I'm like, okay.
He's just had enough. Maybe he's got a loose rope.
And Big Papa Pump doesn't like this, so he argues with the ref. And this distraction gives DDP the chance to attack from behind, knocking Steiner to the floor and following out with a slingshot splash onto his opponent. Page's whip is reversed, sending him into the steel steps before Big Papa Pump grabs a chair to use again, only for the ref to grab it away in time. Yeah. And Steiner chases Robinson around the ring in anger, with DDP hitting a clothesline as he comes back around.
See, the ref felt bad that he took that long to send him back. So he grabbed the chair.
And Big Papa Pump's rolled in with Page headed up top. But Steiner hits the ropes, causing DDP to crouch himself.
His diamonds.
Climbing up to deliver a Frankensteiner for the pin. And no, Page kicks out. Scott goes for a spinebuster, only for DDP to counter it into a DDT, calling for his finisher. But Big Papa Pump shoves Page into the exposed turnbuckle, slamming Page's head and back into them multiple times before locking on the Steiner recliner to a passed out DDP for the stoppage and the win. Post-match, Page is loaded onto a stretcher while Big Papa Pump poses at the top of the ramp as the crowd is chanting, DDP sucks.
Ooh. I don't like this at all. But, I mean, I thought the match was very good. We've been on a roll here on this pay-per-view, and I guess WCW can have a good show if they feel threatened. Maybe that's what's going on.
That could be.
Because all of these matches have weight. We have nigh seen a Norman Smiley or a large cat. Yeah. And everybody's got their working boots on. Happy to see it.
Agreed.
We then go to the WCW.com booth with Mark Madden and Bam Bigelow. And Madden says that Bam Bam's one intention was to get Goldberg in the ring. And tonight's the night. Bigelow says he's hawked, hunted, and agitated Bill to get him in a high-profile match in front of the world and to beat him. Mark then asks why Bam Bam doesn't show Goldberg the same respect as everyone else, with Bigelow responding that he's been in this business for 15 years, and if Bill is the man to beat, that Bam Bam is the man to beat him. And Madden brings up that Bigelow has the size advantage, with Bam Bam saying, like my daddy used to say, the bigger you are, the harder you fall. The smaller you are, the further you fly.
They're both pretty large men, though.
I'm looking at you, Spike Dudley.
Yeah.
And this prompts Mark to ask if Bigelow thinks if he can throw Goldberg around, as Bam Bam claims that he knows he can.
I hope to see it.
Yep.
So we go to our 8th match. Scott Hall with Disco Inferno versus Roddy Piper for the WCW United States Championship. Raise your hand if you thought you'd see Roddy Piper in 1999.
I mean, I was very
wearing a belt.
surprised. Also, it's just funny that like Disco's coming out with Scott Hall. It's like Disco must be a really good bag guy or an excellent hang.
I'm sure he's both.
He's got soft hands.
And Rowdy gets right in Hall's face, so Scott shoves him, only for Piper to retaliate with a slap, then uses his kilt to blind his opponent and wailing on him with right hands. Roddy with chokes, claps the ears, and hits a neck breaker to take down Hall, before both men do some hair pulling. And Disco jumps on the apron, so Piper tussles his hair and knocks him down, followed by returning to Scott for a pair of atomic drops. And they trade eye pokes when Hall yanks Roddy's tights, sending him throat first into the ropes and rolling to the outside, where he pokes the eyes of Disco Inferno. And Scott attacks from behind, slamming Piper into the steel steps, rolling him back in to deliver strikes, with Roddy just asking for more. And the two men then trade low blows, with the ref, like literally the refs behind them, trying, like, acting like he doesn't see it. He's like trying to like look everywhere except for where the announcers are.
Yeah, it's like he was doing like an interpretive dance. It was really funny.
Before Hall places Piper in a tree of woe, allowing Disco to choke him. Scott then places Roddy in a leveraged ab stretch, which the ref finally catches, forcing a break, giving Piper the opportunity for an arm drag and an elbow drop, which Hall rolls away from. Roddy's then placed on a turnbuckle only to kick away his opponent, jumping on his back to lock on a sleeper, with Scott starting to fade. Disco Inferno then jumps in the ring, so Piper releases the hold to take him out, while Kevin Nash makes his way out to the ring, but Roddy kicks the ropes into the Little Sexies to stop him.
I don't like that at all.
And the distraction allows Hall to attack from behind and make a leveraged cover for the pin. And the win. And new! Post-match, Piper fights back with right hands that knock Scott out of the ring, not realizing that the match is over, until Hall takes a mic to tell the ref to let Roddy know who the champ is. And Billy Silverman raises the arm of Scott, with Piper throwing the belt to the feet of his opponent, who reaches down to grab the title. Hall then attempts to hit Roddy with it, only for Piper to duck and knock Scott out of the ring with more right hands.
Yeah, get him.
Nash, Disco Inferno, and Hall surround the ring, so Roddy tries to fend them off, but the numbers game is too much, so Piper escapes to the floor before the damage is done.
Yeah, he yells something to Mike or whatever as he's exiting the ring, and I couldn't figure out. I rewound it a couple times.
Same.
But, yeah, it was... Love to see Roddy just doing a thing that's not completely stupid. As far as like booking goes, I mean, he probably did get the belt on TV a while ago, and they're just like, oh, it's time to get it off of him.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and they didn't make a mess of it. Like they didn't beat him down afterwards. Let the man live.
So we go to our 9th match: Bam Bigelow versus Goldberg. And our two men lock up to start, with neither grabbing an advantage, until Bam nails a few shots to the head, taking down Bill with a shoulder block. Goldberg's right back up to power slam Bigelow down, that sends him rolling outside to regroup. And once he returns, Bam kicks Bill in the midsection. Goldberg answers right back with a clothesline, a fireman's carry, and an armbar, forcing Bigelow to reach the ropes. And Bill keeps up the attack with a drop kick and a clothesline that knocks Bam over to the floor, only to get too close, allowing Bigelow to drag Goldberg out, delivering elbows to the legs and slamming his opponent into the ring steps. Bam continues to work the leg of Bill in the ring with holds, elbows, and headbutts, but Goldberg finally makes it back to his feet, escaping a headlock with a back suplex. But Bigelow's up first to slam down Bill, heading up top to deliver a diving headbutt for a 2 count, followed by going up again for a moonsault, only for Goldberg to shove him off down to the mat. Bill then goes for a spear, but Bam rolls out to avoid, so Goldberg reaches out to grab his opponent, only for Bigelow to hit some strikes and roll back in to whip Bill to the ropes, which he bounces off of to nail the spear. Goldberg then hits a thrust kick and another spear before lifting Bam into the jackhammer for the pin and the win.
And we knew Bam probably wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
So I guess it's finally over for Bam. Maybe not, but that was my feeling. At least Goldberg, at least his match was more than 3 minutes. He let Bam get a little bit in on him. Or at least they did.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
What? I don't want to see Bam Bam get destroyed in 3 minutes.
I mean,
This was
I don't
6
either,
minutes.
but Bam Bam's definitely not on Goldberg's level, so...
Yeah, I know. I just have more affinity for him, that's all. It's the right man won.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether it's in my heart or not.
So we go to our 10th match. Hollywood Hogan versus the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And Michael Buffer makes our announcement, so let's get ready to woo! But also, Champ came out first. Foreshadowing. And we get back and forth action to start, with chops, strikes, and shoulder tackles. Hogan back body drops Nate down, whipping him to a corner and following in with a clothesline. Hollywood continues pounding on the Nature Boy with right hands and chops when Flair reverses to hit some of his own before a rolling knee drop to his fallen opponent. Nate sends Hogan to the corner, who charges out with a clothesline to take the Nature Boy down, followed by tossing him to the floor to send Flair into the railing. Hollywood also grabs a chair for a shot to the head and to the back, before slamming his opponent headfirst into a guardrail, which leaves him bleeding from the forehead.
Busted open.
And Hogan bites the forehead and suplexes Nate on the outside, followed by them heading back in, where the Nature Boy hits a knee to the gut and heads up top, only for Hollywood to press slamming down to the mat. Hogan connects with a pair of elbow drops, which seems to wake Flair up, so they trade strikes and chops again, when Hollywood takes his weightlifting belt off to wail away on Nate.
My least favorite thing.
Yep.
Even wrapping it around his fist to knock his opponent down.
Because it's harder than Knuckles.
The Nature Boy makes it back to his feet as Hogan puts his belt back around his waist, so they have a chop standoff, when an eye rake by Flair allows him to hit several low blows, grabbing the weight belt to whip Hollywood, which has him bleeding as well.
Thank you, Hogan, for at least bleeding.
And the young blonde lady from the beginning of the show all of a sudden makes her way to the ring, slapping Nate across the face, only for him to recover to return to the attack on Hogan with a back suplex, strikes, and chops in the corner. And the Nature Boy delivers a vertical suplex for a 2 count, with a kick out being so strong, Flair lands on the ref.
Ref bomb.
Followed by Hollywood dropping an elbow on Charles Robinson as well, for good measure. Hogan then hits the big boot, body slam, and the leg drop, only for Nate to move in time, leading to the Nature Boy working the leg of Hollywood, placing the champ in a figure 4. All of a sudden, a masked man then comes out, jumping in the ring and zapping Flair with a stun gun.
That's the Blue Blazer.
With Hogan rolling on top for the pin and the win.
And it's so funny, I knew exactly who it was just with the mask on.
Yep.
Because even Bobby was like, I think it's Bischoff. And I was like, no, it's not.
Post-match, the mask is taken off, and it's David Flair.
What did your daddy do?
And he turns and kisses the young lady as they celebrate with Hollywood in the ring and opening his jacket to reveal an NWO shirt. David also zaps his father again as Kevin Nash comes down to celebrate as well, while Tony says his goodbyes.
And small amounts of trash is thrown.
And we fade to black. So, one little side note here. The young lady, we should mention who this is.
Absolutely.
It's Tori Wilson,
Yeah.
who is a WWE Hall of Famer. But at this time, she still doesn't have a name in WCW.
She's just that woman.
Does she doesn't get the name Tori Wilson in WCW?
Yeah.
She does? Okay.
Yeah, that's her real name.
Okay, I just wasn't, But she does end up in the WWE.
Actually, I think they call her Samantha at first
I can't remember.
in WCW. But then,
I just remember once she's with, down the line when she's with Kidman, and I remember she's Tori at that point
Yeah.
already. So
We'll find out soon enough if she was ever Samantha.
so I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of Super Brawl 9?
I really enjoyed the in-ring work throughout the show. The last match wasn't the worst it could have been, considering it's Hogan and Flair in '99. but the finish was lazy, even though I know it probably got some people hyped. It didn't do a whole lot for me. The main event didn't even really have much of a package, but I guess kind of know what happened recently. But I guess also, do you need one for Hogan and Flair? But I felt like the twist was just kind of uninspired and lazy. But what isn't uninspired and lazy about Hogan and Flair in '99? Rest of the show I love, and I don't even necessarily hate this. It just doesn't appeal to me like as much as the rest of the show, considering I like wrestling matches. And if we're gonna have like an event match, a big angle, I want to care about the angle a little bit more. And if it's not that, then I want to see some good wrestling, and I feel like there was plenty of it on the show.
Yeah.
Agreed. As far as a wrestling show, a wrestling WCW show is concerned, this is the most enjoyable wrestling I've seen in a little while. So
absolutely.
It was very, very refreshing. Yeah, I mean, the show itself had a good flow to it. It wasn't worn down with NWO bullshit. Or, it had its bullshit, but not the typical endless amount that you would normally get. So, yeah, I
kept waiting for it to, like, fall apart because it started strong, and then, like, it was just good. And then it's, like, the last couple matches are what they are. Mm-hmm. But, like, I was waiting for that moment where, like, why the fuck is this on the show?
I mean, yeah, it had its why the fuck are they doing that moments on it. But, again, with your last year's worth of WCW shows, there hasn't been a whole lot of positivity. And, I'm sure once we go over it with a fine-tooth comb, we'll find more negative stuff to talk about on it. But, as a whole, it was more enjoyable than your typical WCW show has been in a while. So, yay.
I mean, we're all right there. The wrestling is pretty good for the most part on this show.
I mean,
this might actually be one of the most enjoyable WCW shows we've had, especially since the NWO showed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is like the most consistent show. Where like I'm not like I didn't eye roll any of these, and I was more engaged in every match of this card than I've been in a long time. Where it's like to various degrees, but like I was like, oh, this is good, and then I just kept being like, it's good, and then you get to your like marquee matches, and it's like, well, no matter how I feel about it, it's Goldberg and Bam Bigelow, and it's Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. So number one, it's not going to go long, and number two, they're guys that everybody cares about to varying degrees because they're all,
I think the biggest complaint I do have about this show, which you have to take kind of that step back and look at it as a whole. Like wrestling, very good.
Yeah. But
when you look at, I'll even say the booking, because that's basically what it is. 10 matches, only 3 baby faces win. Booker T, Goldberg, who you're not going to have lose.
Yeah.
And unless it's to Nash.
And Kidman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who, that match really, you're not having Kidman lose either.
No.
Especially to Chavo Guerrero. And Booker T's not losing to Disco Inferno. So, like, the 3 matches where it's pretty obvious that the babyface is going to win, won. But every other match, I mean, yes, Benoit and Malenko won once, but they didn't win in the long run. But to have all the heels win, and basically all the belts are now on heels as well, it, like I said, you take that step back and kind of look at the overarching of what came out of this show.
Yeah.
It does kind of make it a little bit of a bummer.
But if WCW comes out of Jim Crockett and NWA, those are heel-led promotions typically, as far as the belts go. But yeah, even I completely understand where you're coming from.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? There. All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smart it up. So, what are some of the best moments of this show?
I mean, the Horsemen, Hennig, and
the Horsemen
Windham
versus former
yeah.
Horsemen.
Yes, past and present.
It's good.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
it was a wrestling clinic.
it's 4 guys who know how to wrestle.
Yeah, and they're all happy to be there. It seems they're putting in the work.
They're not necessarily. I mean, they're there for the money, but
Yeah,
a lot of them got into the business because they love the business, and it wasn't just about collecting a paycheck.
or it was in the family.
Yeah.
The outsiders selling for Ray
Ray.
and Konnan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that match was really good, and I expected it to stink on ice. Well, not stink on ice, but like for it to be underwhelming, annoying, or upsetting. And I don't think it was any of those things.
Actually, one of the things that like kind of shocked me was how much Scott did in that match, considering that they knew that he had another match just, a few matches away.
True.
Because he worked double. Because he wasn't supposed
I
to.
didn't
He
even realize
wasn't.
he worked double.
He wasn't supposed to be in that match, but then it felt like he actually did most of the work because they kind of kept Nash and Ray away from each other a little bit. Steiner and Page, there was tons of intensity.
Yeah.
Which there should be because literally DDP's wife got thrown out of a car.
Yeah.
Like DDP should want to basically kill Scott.
And DDP's kind of the best with any of these type of angles in WCW for a while. It's like you give him an angle and he delivers on it, and they seem to. Sometimes they run too long, but like they always are satisfying and actually raise the stakes instead of us being like, oh yeah, this match is pretty good, but what was the angle again?
And I felt like they did a good job of making sure that DDP didn't lose a whole lot by losing the match, because by basically destroying his back and his head against the exposed turnbuckle,
Yeah.
once he gets put in the Steiner recliner, he's,
over.
you're just going to be passed out.
Yeah.
Really hated the DDP sucks at the end.
I did too.
Yeah,
so I just kind of feel like maybe
Steiner's just
maybe
getting on
this
his way
crowd
up.
is just kind of over him, but everyone's really liking Steiner too.
Also,
so
heels are cool, and even though Stone Cold's not like the same kind of disrespectful, he's disrespectful to like authority or being told what to do, but he's not like perving on somebody's girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, but I think that gets misconstrued in the year 1999, where it's like, oh, this guy's a bad guy. We like the bad guy, but Stone Cold is a face because he's a bad guy to your boss.
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, Chavo taking a serious attitude again and not being a full-on comedy player, so it was good to see.
Yeah, I like him as an eye poke style heel that can still go.
Yep.
what's the worst match on this show? Is it Hall and Piper just because it's Piper's limitations?
Yeah.
Yeah, or is it Goldberg and Bigelow because
Goldberg shouldn't go 9 minutes.
and also because
however
like
long it was.
we know where it's gonna go anyway, even though it's not terrible. Or is it Hogan and Flair because I hated the twist? But it's like it was not the worst Hogan and Flair match we'll ever see.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, I thought the match was fine.
Yeah.
And I had no issue with the twist because, like,
No,
if,
I didn't
if that's
either.
literally the only, like,
Reason that
thing that you're going to do on this entire show, then that's the problem usually with WCW shows is that they, like, the 7th match has something happen in it.
Yeah.
The 8th match has something happen in it. The 9th match has. So by the time you get to the main event and
already
something
done-
happens, you're just kind of like, okay, this is just an overbooked mess.
or we've already done this same angle, which happens all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just find it lame in hindsight. I'm sure if I was watching the product at the time, I'm like, oh, his son turned on him. As a 10-year-old watching this,
I
I'd be
mean-
like, oh shit.
I would love to fantasy book and say, like, I personally think that the next night on Nitro, which we're not covering, they would have come out and, been celebrating with David Flair and then just beat up David Flair and been like, we just used you for the
Yeah.
night.
Yeah,
Like, that would have been,
that's a great angle.
to me, that would have made it for a great angle. But David Flair, they don't do that.
Yeah,
David Flair stays in the NWO for a little while, basically.
yeah, that's a very NWO angle. That's what the NWO should be doing.
How about disappointing on this show? Because I have a few things that the nitpicky things are a little bit more negative. Like, positively, I feel like that we've all said show's pretty good,
Yeah.
One of the more like watchable front to back.
and there's not really anything nitpicky positively, but nitpicky I can do negatively a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the mask.
Yeah,
I hate Mysterio losing the mask.
Yep.
It shouldn't have happened, and if they were going to do something like that, I wish they would have gone the extra mile and had him, like, have his face painted or something underneath it just as a
yeah.
loophole. That way
Two
they could have
masks.
gotten away from it. But it was unnecessary. It's been erased from his history pretty much, thankfully, after all of these years.
Yeah.
Because once he made his way over to the Fed, a couple years later, it was all mask all the time. There was no mention of the former. Sure. Even with Dominic Mysterio today showing his face, they've never even touched on. They'll have the tugging of the mask here or there in a Mysterio match, or have it skillfully done to where it's taken off but faces are covered. And they should have done something to, as much as WCW and Eric Bischoff did to try and promote Lucha and steal it and bring it up to America, they didn't need to piss on it the way that they did.
They also didn't do it very respectfully most of the time. I think that the way that Ray took the losing of the mask was very commendable and respectable. Where it's just like, all right, cool. He didn't run away or bitch out or whatever. He was just like, all right, this is what it is.
Took it off, threw it on the ground, and basically said, fuck you guys. Yeah. Here's my baby face.
The ending of the Jericho Saturn match was just kind of pin Jericho, go for the pin. If you go for the pin and Dickinson does a slow count, then you turn and just hit your finisher on Dickinson and then you walk away. Fine. But just to literally go, I'm getting back at you for what happened a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's also if Dickinson's going to walk out with him and then walk out with Jericho and then not do anything moderately shady, then why did he walk out with Jericho? Just to remind you that he was shady a while ago?
Yeah.
But he just needed a couple of teases. He didn't even need to be successful in trying to be tricky.
I mean, you've already mentioned it before, but the DDP sucks chant.
Yeah, it's just so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things too. It's everybody loves DDP, but they only let him get so high before.
And I think that might be the thing is that instead of pushing him they should have.
He was supposed to have kind of been in a program with Hogan at one point, I thought. And that just
and then just disappeared. But I think they're just so tired of their fan favorite just only being able to get to a certain level,
being high mid card, and then
with the exception of Goldberg, I mean, Sting was the fan favorite and then couldn't make it, and then Sting was the fan favorite
because they didn't allow
got the belt and then had it taken away from him.
And then now it's Steiner's the next guy that maybe they'll actually do that with. I think is the way the fans feel.
Throwing women out of cars, and
whether they know it or not, that's probably why they're cheering, because you've got 10 plus years of Sting never being the guy, even though you're told he's the guy, and then DDP being the people's guy, and then just never getting over that hump.
And then, I mean, we mentioned Hall and Piper, probably the worst match, but a lot of that, I think, is because Piper's so respected that he kind of gets his way with how matches end. So it forces them to have to do basically a 3-on-1 distraction thing for Piper to lose, which is kind of just lose clean, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, Piper.
Technically, I don't think Piper should have lost, because why are we putting a belt on Scott Hall?
Yeah.
Are we really trusting Scott Hall? I mean, he's done better in ~99. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
But is this a guy we're really trusting to put a belt on at this point? So
it's hard for me to ever get down on Piper, even if it's not great, because he has maybe my favorite WrestleMania match ever with Bret Hart.
You're gonna say Adrian Adonis.
And then I already mentioned I think Bigelow and Goldberg went a little too long, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I like Bigelow, don't get me wrong, but I do feel like Bigelow can get his offense in, but Goldberg needs to be the first 3 minutes of the match, and then Goldberg just on a dime turn it, hit the power slam, hit the spear, hit the jackhammer, be done.
Yep.
But good for them for giving Bigelow a little bit more than that, even though it's not necessary. But I think we're basically all on the same page that this was a show where we're not even picking out matches to skip, really. I think you can watch this one beginning to end. The Piper and Hall isn't the greatest thing ever. The Bigelow Goldberg's not the greatest thing ever. But they don't outstay their welcome, and they're not entertaining.
Exactly.
Right.
So kudos to you, WCW.
And how about best performer of the night?
Ooh. I figure you're going to say Tori Wilson. So
I'm actually going to say Scott Steiner. That was actually probably my favorite match on the show. Like, there's a bunch of good contenders for best match of the show or favorite match of the show, but I think that one was mine, just because of the intensity. Yeah. I mean, I've always been a Scott Steiner fan, even as he's bulked up. And
well, I mean, everybody on the show was actually bringing it, which is pretty great, and there's a whole lot of talent on this show. That was probably the most intense singles match for sure. But I really loved the tag match as well. So it would probably be between those two. But I think most of this show is full of good to great matches.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Mysterio just because he went through...
Took it on the chin, on his tiny little chin.
Yeah. Took it where he could be, cast out of his Luger legacy, and...
Luckily, he gets it back pretty quickly. But
that's a great one as well. And most surprising? Piper being there. I mean, obviously, Mysterio's losing the mask whenever the match starts, but still
through history, and then also because they told us when they said they were going to cut Liz's hair, and I was like hell, you're going to cut Liz's hair.
But I mean, that's still like him even agreeing to take his mask off. I mean, I'm sure he probably got told, hey, you're either taking your mask off or you're probably not going to be wrestling here. I mean, it's that kind of thing. But
what if they took his mask off and his face was painted and he just like green misted him and slid out? That would have been sick.
Been beautiful.
Or whatever color.
I mean, Tori Wilson is a surprise.
Yeah, Tori was a surprise because I forgot we're at that time already. I mean, just the fact that finally WCW didn't shoot themselves in the foot.
I mean, maybe that's the biggest surprise.
I guess,
is that
it's loaded up to where the beginning is hot and then it just all fizzles out at the end. Where even
without a singular match that we're like, this is great. This show is consistent enough and good enough that like I think it might be like I said earlier, I think it's the best WCW show we've watched at least since the NWO.
It was a breath of fresh air because we click these WCW shows and I'm like,
yep,
okay, all right, and I like kind of steel myself, and then I watched the first match and I was like,
you're white knuckling.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, this is good, and I'm waiting for it to fall apart, and then it like doesn't really ever fall apart. So yeah,
a certain person was missing from the show, and you could actually say that this show, in a sense, they crushed it.
I mean, it's always his fault, right?
Exactly. Fuck you, Brian.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Turn the lights down, turn the projector on. We're ready to rumble. This week we're covering Stagecoach. Released March 3rd, 1939 by United Artists. It was directed by John Ford, who's a 6-time Oscar nominee with 4 wins, and written by Dudley Nichols, who's a 4-time Oscar nominee with 1 win. It stars Claire Trevor, a 3-time Oscar nominee with 1 win, John Wayne, a 3-time Oscar nominee with 1 win, Andy Devine, John Carradine, and Thomas Mitchell, a 2-time Oscar nominee with 1 win. The plot of this film is it's a group of people traveling on a stagecoach, find their journey complicated by the threat of Geronimo, and learn something about each other in the process. Some fun trivia about this one. Thomas Mitchell, I mentioned he had won an Oscar. It was for this film, for Best Supporting Actor. This film would also win Best Score. And the hat that John Wayne wears is his own. And he would wear it for the next 2 decades throughout his films until being forced to retire it in 1959 because it was falling apart.
Damn.
This is the only film that John Ford was nominated for a Best Director Oscar and lost. So he was a 6-time Oscar nominee, but not all of them were for directors.
Yeah, Best Picture or whatever.
And this is John Wayne's 80th film of his career.
Really?
But it's considered his breakout role.
Okay, so he played smaller roles.
Yeah, like there's tons of like those serials that he did back in the day.
In this one, there's like not, I don't know if there's a true lead, but he feels like a star in this. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I get it now.
And this film was included in the AFI Top 100 list in 1998.
That's a big deal.
Some reviews and ratings of this movie. IMDb gives it a 7.8. Letterboxd is at 4.0. And we got a review from Roger Ebert in 2011, where he says, "Seen today, it may not seem original, but it plays like an anthology of timeless cliches. It holds our attention effortlessly and is paced with the elegance of a symphony."
In only an hour and 40 minutes, thank God.
My review of this movie is, so I grew up watching this film. My dad was a huge John Wayne fan, and it's probably the reason I love Westerns. It's a very simple story that weaves in complex characters to reach a climax that is a masterclass of filmmaking by John Ford. The wrestler of this film is Woody Strode, he's one of the guys in the saloon who's entrusted by Luke Plummer to go get his brothers.
Okay. I was wondering where the wrestler was.
I give this film a 5-star rating. Like I said, I love this film. And Woody Strode, he doesn't really do a whole lot except for be there. So I give him a 3.0. He doesn't do anything to take away from this film.
Followed the assignment.
Exactly. I had Michael watch this one as well to give me his thoughts.
I had never seen this. I'm aware of John Ford. I don't know if I've seen any other John Ford movies. Westerns are a pretty big blank spot for me, especially ones that aren't of the spaghetti variety. And I have no complaints. I started watching and I was like, all right, cool. But once it gets going, it's going. And every character is interesting. And every character is complex. And nobody gets like a huge monologue to do it. It's all just through context clues. They never say any quiet things out loud. I mean, the drunk guy can't hide that he's a drunk guy, but he's not. They're not like calling him a stupid drunk the whole movie. They say what it needs to be said. The woman of the night, they obviously never say that out loud, but it's from 39, so they couldn't. But you didn't have to with the way that it was done, and it was more effective because of it. John Wayne came off incredibly charming. I don't know if I've ever seen a John Wayne movie. Father didn't care about Westerns. I think maybe he was just burnt out on seeing them as a child. Also, he was from Massachusetts. So I didn't grow up on the Western at all. I always just thought, who cares about John Wayne? And when he came on screen in this movie, I was like, oh, I get it. I understand that everybody kind of becomes like a parody of themselves. And you could even hear the John Wayne impression, like where it comes from in this, but it's not the one that I've seen in clips of films later in his career where I'm like, oh, that's the thing that people are pulling. But like, yeah, exactly.
Howdy, Pilgrim.
But yeah, incredibly watchable, and it's almost like a anti-found family movie where it's like, oh, everybody does the thing they need to do to like survive, because it's basically a group of people in a stagecoach trying to get to a place, but they're being hunted down by like Apaches essentially. The action scene at the end was incredibly thrilling, which I did not expect. The stunts were insane. There was so many horses falling. I'm sure one of them died making this movie. And the speed at which the horses are running and the way the camera catches it was better than most action movies that come out today, even though it's just one segment towards the end of the movie, but it builds to it, and like you can see the speed to the point where you like feel it. Really great. And who was the man that won the Oscar?
Thomas Mitchell.
Which character did he play?
He was the doctor, I believe.
The doctor that was a drunk?
Yeah.
Okay. That was one of my favorite characters. There was no characters in this movie that I hated, except for the ones I was supposed to hate, which means that they were doing a good job. I really loved the stagecoach driver as well. I found him very funny. He kind of played the like lovable buffoon part. But yeah, I would highly suggest watching this. It's very easy to get a hold of, and it won't hijack much of your time, as it's like an hour and 40, and it gets moving pretty quickly. I give it a 5 as well, by the way. If we're putting out numbers, my number is 5. No complaints, and this is a movie you can watch with anybody, I feel like.
Yeah.
As long as they're not one of those people that's like, ew, it's black and white. But then you just tell them to shut up and sit down.
Yeah.
Try to enjoy yourself.
Like Michael said, you can find this movie on HBO or Amazon Prime right now. So you should definitely go out there and watch it. Even if you're not a Western guy, Western person. I should say
Even if you think John Wayne stinks, he's not the lead.
No.
His performance is great, but everybody's performance in this movie is good and
it is a
interesting.
true ensemble piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next week, Uncensored, 1999.
I'm scared. It's gimmicks.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of gimmicks.
And the music from this week's show is the theme from SuperBrawl, and Hogan won our main event. And I don't know if you guys realized, but he's coming out to Wolfpack
I did.
by Jimmy Hart and Howard Helm now.
I don't know which dumb NWO songs I hate the most at this point.
I mean, this will keep this one from being deleted from YouTube, so that's always a positive.
Because it's not from...
It's not Voodoo Child.
Yeah, it's not getting strike down by the Hendrix estate.
Yeah. So if you're ever like, where did this episode go? Just go to one of the other spots to find it, because YouTube doesn't like Voodoo Child. And if you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts at. I was just talking about YouTube, so if you're there, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell.
Exactly. Tell a friend.
Leave a comment. Tell a friend. Tell an enemy. I don't care. Tell your mama.
I bet your mama loves wrestling.
I mean, most grandmas used to.
Yeah,
She did.
for sure.
And if you have any other questions, comments, concerns,
People, we're going to Kentucky. So, I believe Louisville.
I hope you don't.
Be,
I hope you don't bring KFC.
To be exact. No. I hope I don't either. But yeah, give me some ideas. I promise I'll show up. Just give me a shout out. Let us know what sounds good for Kentucky, or just in general. Give some ideas. Get on ChatGPT and see what they come up with, because it's more fun when we have interaction from you to give us ideas. So I would love to recreate some stuff or order some stuff at your suggestion. So please slide into our DM, send us an email, something.
and that email is wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com, or find us on X at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO X. We'll talk to you next week.
Laters.